from YMP Blessing Sancho. You have the floor.
My name is Blessing Sancho. I'm 18 years old. I'm truly honored to be here today representing the voices of young people. I am from St. Martin. I'm passionate about making sure youth have real opportunities to be seen, heard, and involved in shaping the future of our communities. What motivates me to represent young people is the belief that we are not just leaders of today, but we are leaders of tomorrow. Too often, decisions that directly impact us are made without our input, and I want to help change that. I've seen how capable, creative, and determined young people are when they're given a voice and platform. Representing youth means not just speaking for them, but opening doors so that they can speak for themselves. As St. Martin celebrates 15 years of country status, this moment serves as a reminder that nation building is shared responsibility. The youth of St. Martin plays a vital role in shaping our country's path forward through innovation, service, and leadership. By embracing education, civic engagement, and unity, we can continue strengthening our nation and ensuring that the next 15 years reflect our shared values, resilience, and pride as a people. When I think about my future aspirations, I see myself continuing to work in spaces that focus on youth empowerment, leadership, and policy making. I want to help the bridge gap between young people and decision makers so that the youth involvement becomes something natural and expected in all areas of society. To me, youth mainstreaming means making sure that the perspectives and needs of young people are included in everyday decisions, not just in youth-specific projects or events. It's about ensuring that the areas like education, employment, and governance, youth voices are part of process and our realities are being taken seriously. Thank you, Madam Chair.
We will now hear from YMP Kavitcha Singh. You have the floor.
My name is Kavitcha Singh. I am a 16-year-old business student currently in the 5th form at St. Martin Academy. And it's truly an honor to stand here not just as a young person, but someone who cares deeply about the future of St. Martin. So who am I? I am someone who believes in the power of youth. I believe that though we are young, our voices matter, our ideas matter, and our dreams matter. When we are given a chance, we can help shape a stronger, brighter future for our country. What motivates me to represent young people is simple. We are the next generation of leaders, builders, and decision makers. We are already facing big challenges from climate change and education to jobs, also mental health. And we live these issues every day. That's why I feel a strong responsibility to speak up and be part of the solution. But I know I can't do it alone. That's why being a part of the St. Martin Youth Parliament is very important. This is not just a place to talk, but it's a place to act. A place where we can work together, share ideas, and make a real change. Looking ahead, my dream is to keep serving, not just as a voice for young people, but as someone who builds bridges between generations. And I hope to work closely with our parliamentarians and leaders because when youth and government work together, great things can happen. As we mark 15 years of country status, let's take a moment to reflect. We have come a long way, but now more than ever, we must ask, what country do we want to be in the next 15 years? The answer starts with us. Youth voices are not a threat to the tradition. They are a promise for the future. We bring energy, we bring new ideas, we bring hope. So let's not be afraid to speak up. Let's not wait for permission to lead. Let's build a St. Martin where young people are not just seen, but heard, valued, and respected. Thank you. I yield the floor back to you, Madam Chair.
We will now hear from YMP Ilanka Morris. You have the floor.
My name is Ilanka Morris, and I am 15 years old. I attend St. Dominic High School, and I am in 5th form in the science package. When I joined the Youth Parliament as a prospect in 2022, I was curious about what it was and why such an organization was necessary. After 2 years as member of the Youth Parliament, I now truly understand why this organization is needed. The youth need a voice. They need to have a means of expressing their concerns wherein they can be assured that they will be heard. As members of the Youth Parliament, we must listen to the concerns of our fellow youth and take action on these concerns. As we celebrate the upcoming 15 years of country status, we must remember to allow the voices of our youth of our island to be heard. When youth are involved in discussions of politics and the legislative decisions being made, they offer valuable perspectives to issues in the community. This allows them to be able to play an active role in their future. That is why we must offer more avenues for youth to express their concerns related to the community. So when we listen to the concerns of the youth, St. Martin will strengthen youth empowerment and civil participation. The Youth Parliament has taught me many things. It has allowed me to participate in Toastmasters Youth Leadership Program. Through that program, it taught me communication skills and allowed me to express my ideas clearly and effectively. So that is why I think that St. Martin should really put more emphasis on the youth and their opinions and what they express. I yield the floor to you, Madam President.
YMP Morris. We will now hear from YMP Ashley Phillips. You have the floor.
My name is Ashley Phillips, and I'm 20 years old. And I'm truly honored to be here today representing the voices and the aspiration of young people. I came from a background of very strong woman, and I have always believed that young people are not just leaders of tomorrow, but the change of today's. What motivates me to represent young people is the simple but powerful idea every young person deserves to be heard and included in decisions and shape their future. Too often, young youth are seen as beneficiaries of policies rather than partners in creating teams. Seeing potential creativity and energy of peers inspires me to advocate for spaces where young people meaningfully participate and lead. Looking forward, my aspiration is to continue building bridges between young people and policymakers to ensure that youth perspectives are embedded in every level of decision making. I want to see a society where youth are not just consulted, but creators of the solutions that affect them. In closing, I believe that empowering youth is not just about giving opportunities, it's about recognizing their power and potential to drive sustainable change. Together, let's continue to amplify youth voices and turn our ideas into action. Thank you.
We'll now hear from YMP Magnayel Napoleon. You have the floor.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Napoleon Magnel. I'm a 15 years old student at Lycée Robert William. Like many others my age, I care deeply about the future of our country, the place where we'll grow up, build our dreams, and eventually take on the responsibility of shaping the next generation. What drives me to stand for young people is the belief that our voice truly counts. Too often, youth are seen as the future, but not as part of the present. Yet, I've seen firsthand the passion, creativity, and determination that young people bring when given the chance to contribute. We have ideas, bold ones, and their energy to make real change happen. However, it sometimes feels like our opinions aren't taken seriously enough, that our perspectives are overlooked. That's something I want to help change. I believe it's time we recognize that young people aren't just the leaders of tomorrow, we are leaders today. Looking ahead, I want to be someone who brings young people together to share ideas, collaborate on projects, and take actions on the issues that affect us most. Whether it's education, mental health, the environment, or social equality, our voice needs to be part of every conversation that shapes the nation we're growing up in. Through my own experiences at school, I've learned that what can happen when young people are trusted and supported. I've been part of projects that made a real difference in our community, projects where we didn't just participate, we led. We learned how to communicate, organize, and make decisions, and those experiences show me that when youth are given the right space and encouragement, we don't just follow, we inspire. Going forward, I love to see more collaboration between young people in the
parliamentarians because change works best when all generations work together. Youth bring fresh ideas, leaders bring experience, and when those two forces meet, great things can happen. As we celebrate 15 years of our country status, it's important to remember this is still the beginning of our story. Our nation is still growing, learning, and fighting its path. And we, the youth, have chance to shape what the next 15 years will look like. The choice we make now and the voice we include in those choices will determine the kind of country we build together. So let's make sure young people are not just watching from the sidelines, but standing at the heart of progress, helping design, build, and protect our shared future. Because our voices matter, our ideas matter, and together, united across generations, we can make our country stronger and more inclusive and more hopeful than ever. Thank you. I give the floor back to you, Madam Chair.
Are you SXM insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXM is cardless. Request your My SXM account today and enter the virtual office of SXM. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXM, yeah. Your social health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, comm programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
St. Martin, as heavy rain falls across our region, we urge all residents and visitors to exercise caution and stay alert. Here are the areas prone to street flooding, flash floods, and/or rock slides. Avoid these locations until water levels subside. Atillage Road Roundabout, Cul-de-Sac. Arch Road, Sucker Garden. Beacon Hill Road, Simpson Bay. Atillage Road, Border Monument, Belvedere, Lower Princess Quarter. Billy Folly Road, Cole Bay. Emma Plain, Phillipsburg. L.B. Scott Road, Cul-de-Sac. Rhine Road, Lowlands. Welhelican Road, Low K Roundabout, Cahill, Little Bay. Well Road, Wellington Road, and Orange Grove Road, Cole Bay. Yancho Rousquin Boulevard, Point Blanche, and Sakersgut Road, Cul-de-Sac. Remember, safety comes first. Let's work together to keep our community safe. This public service announcement is brought to you by the Department of Communication.
So I'll tackle them one by one in the order that were given. MP Janssen, very important question you ask. And the reason I put this slide back up, we, BlackBerry, are entrusted by this many governments particularly, is because we understand what we call data sovereignty. Certain data, you will be asked, I promise you. I don't know that it's happening already, but I would be flabbergasted if members of ministries and workers and people in the back offices have not already been approached with offers for, it's worth, the data that we're sitting on is worth billions with a B dollars, probably tens of billions of dollars in data. There are people here that spend money. Just drive down by the airport and see how many shipping companies we have that the only thing they do is ship things in. Safe Cargo, West Tech, STM, it's all they do is ship here. When I try to get stuff shipped to the States, they look at me like I have 3 heads coming out to my shoulder. Like, why would you send something that way? That's all they're built for. That means we are heavy consumers. That is a very attractive market for certain big companies. So to answer your question specifically, should, for example, census data be handed off? Be clear on this. Unequivocally 100% never, ever, ever. This data from everything that we've been talking about today needs to be, well, I recommend that it is securely housed in St. Martin, or at least under absolute control of St. Martin. That's actually another very unique opportunity for St. Martin. Because we are half French, half Dutch, there are companies today that want to come here to house, to build a little data center the size of this desk and house data in it, because then it's in a different jurisdiction than where they are present. That's geographically unique for us. There's a company on the island right now that houses their data. It's called Parity Shared. 50% of the data is on the French side, 50% on the Dutch side, and there's a fiber optic cable connecting those two properties. That's been in place for more than 20 years. The two facilities are right across the border from each other. So if they get a French subpoena, the data on the French side is useless without the data on the Dutch side. Like, there are real multi-billion-dollar opportunities for us to cater to those markets. But that data needs to be protected. Our data, and FYI, we are not, St. Martin is not data starved. We have a lot of data. That data needs to be protected at all costs. So when the opportunities come, no, I'm not speaking ill of these companies. They're great companies. I've learned from them, the Googles and the Microsofts, et cetera, and they want to come and set up a whole data center here. Tell them set up the data center, but it's not in exchange for that. Do like what we did maybe with the harbor or something. Yeah, you can get a boardwalk or whatever. We name a street after you, but set the data center up, yeah, but you're not getting our data for it. We can handle that part of it ourselves. There are experts, and I don't mean me. There are experts that will gladly, if you tell them you got to go to St. Martin to work for 6 months, they'll be lining up on the airport to come down here. So that's how we would handle that. We will get our own experts to build this out using cutting-edge technology from around the world, but the data needs to be sovereign to the country of St. Martin, full stop. Mr. Lacruz asked another super question, and it actually bleeds into the same privacy conversation. Does AI learn from itself? That's one of the big misnomers of AI. First thing is that AI is just all learning and it constantly is learning. It's really not. If you read the fine print on like the ChatGPTs and the other little common AI tools, it always says this: the data has been trained, and you'll see they probably do a big release every 6 months or so. And the data, when they just release a model, the training cutoff for it is typically a year prior. And in that span, until they release the next model, that AI is not learning anything more. It doesn't go out on the internet and just collect data and learn it. However, the specific question you asked was if you feed data into the system, into the AI to ask it a question or to give it context for something, if your security settings are set the way they are by default, then yes, the AI will absolutely learn that. And it has been a form of data leakage where, and you gave the example, if you ask your computer something, your AI something, and you allow it to train on your data, and your son asks next week, next month, tomorrow, can he get access to that data? He can. The bigger risk is, what if some random stranger somewhere else asks a question that overlaps with the data you gave it, will it give that data? And yes, it absolutely will. So there are security practices that you should, and they're simple. It's a checkbox you select in a setting and this and that prevent the AI from training on any data you give it. That's also super important for organizations like Parliament and government entities when using AI, that those settings are proper so that we're not accidentally leaking data to places we don't want it leaking. Phenomenal question, Mr. Lacruz, thank you. MP Labega, you asked, and you kind of made a statement around it about the job situation for regular people and the impact of it. Candidly, the trend we are seeing around the world, big societies, big and small, it's probably hitting big societies faster than it's hitting smaller societies, is a radical shift in the way the job market exists. In the US particularly, and in the Netherlands and Germany also, we are seeing big percentages of the job market willingly unemployed. They are getting laid off. You see it in a lot of the tech firms and stuff. You read the headline, 10,000 people laid off from Microsoft, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of them willingly take the layoff package, and they ain't never looking to go back to work because there's a tension in the job market, in the way we work now, to where more people are realizing, me by myself, doing what I'm passionate about, sharing the thing that I have to offer, whether it's bracelets or sugar cakes or a t-shirt from St. Martin or whatever it might be. I spoke to a vendor this morning. They were talking to me about something, not even AI related. I said, do you realize, I visited the Asia recently with my wife. Singapore has an insane appetite for Caribbean stuff. They go crazy for Caribbean music. If you were to do a news channel on YouTube that says Singapore news with a St. Martin accent, that thing would have 1 million followers by tomorrow, because Singapore and Asia in general is enamored with the Caribbean. In the Philippines, there are towns where people speak exactly with our accent. Don't ask me how it happened, who orchestrated it. They don't look nothing like us, but they speak St. Martin English. It's the strangest thing because they consume that data. How many of the businesses here are catering their products and their offerings to Singapore or to the Philippines? Probably nobody. That's a big opportunity for AI, and those are the kinds of places where we can have a very real impact on the normal, regular people. So thanks for that question, Mr. Labega. And I'll close with something that Mr. MP Waver brought up in terms of, and it ties again right into this, so the question sequence was phenomenal. One of the many big opportunities that AI is opening up to us, as recently, well, actually the statistic that I have is today. As of today, 0.23%, so 0.23 of 100th of the world's population are programmers, know how to program. Pre this AI generation that we're seeing now, so pre maybe OpenAI, ChatGPT exists about 2.5 years, so pre 2.5 years ago, anything you wanted to do in the technology space, set up a website, build an app, make a program, anything required a programmer. Now, you don't require a programmer, absolutely unequivocally not. That's 0.23. They see that that programmer demographic, especially the bottom tier, we just graduated from college, don't really have no experience, but we know, C++ so we can program. They have job risk. Everybody else who suddenly now can build their own website in 15 minutes or their own app in 2 hours and launch it and put it in front of the world's market, that's the opportunity.
SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah. Your social health insurances.
24/7 TV programming on www.stmartinmediacenter.com, SXM Daily News, PBS NewsHour, Now You Know, com programs, documentary, entertainment, sports events, Saturday children's hours, religion programs, and movies. Click on SXM TV broadcast to see your favorite programs.
Tensions are simmering across the Caribbean as U.S. strikes on alleged drug boats spark outrage and fear of a wider conflict. A Senate effort to limit President Donald Trump's power to order such attacks has failed, leaving him free to continue the controversial campaign. Colombia, on the other hand, says one of the bombed vessels may have been its own, while Venezuela accuses Washington of plotting regime change under the guise of anti-narcotics operations. With 21 people already dead and regional alliances fraying, the crisis is deepening by the day. From the Senate floor to the Caribbean coast, the stakes are rising increasingly fast. Here's more from the ground.
Tensions are boiling in the Caribbean. U.S. warships patrol turquoise waters. Wreckage drifts in the wake of missile strikes, and allies are turning uneasy. What began as Washington's crackdown on drug smugglers has now spiraled into a regional storm. Political, military, and deeply personal. On Wednesday, the U.S. Senate narrowly rejected a proposal to limit President Donald Trump's power to order such attacks. The vote, 48 in favor, 51 against, gives Trump a free hand to continue his controversial campaign. For over a month, at least 21 people have been killed so far in what the White House calls necessary operations to protect the United States from narcotics flowing in from Venezuela.
I'm thankful that the Trump administration has designated these cartels and narco traffickers as foreign terrorist organizations, is because we must treat them like the foreign terrorist organizations post 9/11. We must treat them like the Al-Qaedas of the world, because that's how we're operating.
But critics say the mission looks less like law enforcement and more like war. Senator Adam Schiff, who led the resolution, warned that Trump's strikes could set off an unintended conflict with Venezuela. Trump, however, seems undeterred. He has called the missions a success, boasting that there are no boats left in certain parts of the Caribbean. He even hinted that the crackdown might soon move to land routes used by traffickers. The Pentagon hasn't confirmed details or denied them.
They're not coming in by sea anymore, so now we'll have to start looking about the land, because they'll be forced to go by land. And let me tell you right now, that's not going to work out well for them either.
Now the fallout is spreading. Colombia's President Gustavo Petro claimed that the last vessel bombed by U.S. forces might have been Colombian, with Colombian citizens on board. The aggression is against all of Latin America and the Caribbean, he declared on X. The White House fired back, calling Petro's claim baseless and reprehensible. Officials urged him to retract the statement and restore calm. But Petro refused, challenging Washington to release the names of those killed. His words added another crack to an already fragile alliance.
The United States looks forward to President Petro publicly retracting his baseless and reprehensible statement so that we can return to a productive dialogue on building a strong, prosperous future for the people of the United States and Colombia. Despite policy differences with the current government, Colombia remains an essential strategic partner.
Meanwhile, in Caracas, Venezuela's leaders accuse the U.S. of using drug control as a disguise for regime change. On Monday, Trump ordered his envoy, Richard Grenell, to end all diplomatic talks with Venezuela, effectively freezing all communication. After which, President Nicolas Maduro said his intelligence services had uncovered a false flag plot to bomb the U.S. Embassy in Caracas. He claimed extremist groups were planning the attack to create chaos and give Washington an excuse to strike harder. Venezuela has since begun large-scale coastal military drills in La Guaira and Carabobo. Defense Minister Vladimir Padrino called the American buildup, which includes warships, a nuclear-powered submarine, and F-35 jets, a serious threat to peace.
Today, it is our duty to deploy across the entire state, because this is an ongoing operation. Military units already have their specific tasks. Mobilization began at midnight. At 5 a.m., we formally started. I hope our people understand, even those who do not support the revolution, that we are doing this for everyone.
Interior Minister Diosdado Cabello went further. The U.S. has set in place a death penalty for anyone it chooses to kill, he said on state TV. The waters of the Caribbean have never looked so restless. Bombed boats, angry presidents, and rumors of false flag plots swirl together, each wave hiding a deeper undertow. And as Rodriguez warned, the alleged embassy plot may have been just the beginning, a spark aimed at something far greater.